Hey.
One day you just chilling in Europe, minding your own European business, and here come these savages. But you don't know that they savages. They just say, hey man, we got this Bible and we got these guns. We're not gonna give you the guns, we're gonna give you the Bible. And the Bible, it's a black Jesus, right? So they've already started the brainwash, I should say, right? So then somewhere in the middle of the night, they just take you. They convince some of your people to let you go. It's like, man, we're gonna kill you if you don't give up your people, right? And then the rest of them, so once they got you, then they make them come too. So 40% of them didn't survive to even get on the boats. Then the people who got on the boats, 90% of them died. And then when they get over here, you take the strongest, all the weak ones, fuck the weak ones. We only want the strongest ones. So you breed them, but then look how you breed them. You make them fuck their sisters, their moms, their cousins. You don't think, when you talk about PTSD, it's post-traumatic slave disorder.
I get it. So here's my question, man.
Hold on, I'm asking you, what would you think after I'm done? Hold on, because we know the Irish people, they were indentured service and they got their reparations too. They got the, you know what I'm saying? So, and that was back then. So what would you feel, so after you get out of slavery? Now they've already put this whole little Willie Lynch thing on you where I'm against my brother right here because he's dark skinned. He's against me because I'm light skinned. You live in the valley, I live in the mountains. All the mind fuck, right? So when you let go of slavery, now you don't need chains. You don't have your European name no more. Your name is Umbufu or something like that. You don't have your European language. You don't speak Spanish or whatever. And nothing. Then after you let us go free, you say, man, here's the secret about slavery. 1865, okay. You're not slaves no more, but you still got to work here.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who didn't even know that slavery was over.
Until the 1930s and 40s.
Juneteenth coming up in a couple of weeks.
There's nothing you're saying I'm disagreeing with.
No, I'm asking you. That's what I'm saying. Just give me a chance.
Yeah.
So then, instead of getting $0 a month, because you're not a slave now you get $1 a month. You're the only person in the country that has all the trades, all the skills, all the things, okay? So now that you got these people got free, now check this out. In the 10 years after slavery, the biggest financial boom in U.S. history is blacks, the wealth that they acquired in the first 10 years. And as a result, oh man, we can't do that shit. Oh, I'm sorry, not blacks, Europeans. We're gonna say Europeans, I forgot, because you're the slaves, right? So
Yeah,
blacks say,
I get what you're saying.
We're going to develop the KKK now, our own version of the KKK, because these motherfuckers are getting money. They got all the skills.
Yeah.
We can't do nothing for ourselves. We need to do it, right? So you develop Jim Crow laws in the 90s. Then when the Jim Crow falls out, said, man, they burning the the whole country down. What do? Well, we're going to take the father out the home. We'll make the woman the man. You know that your community can't last without your father in the home.
Yep.
How did they even do that, right?
With your program, the same programs that you wouldn't give us, or excuse me, that we wouldn't give you, okay? And then we're going to start incarcerating people. Well, slavery's over, but it's still a new type of slavery that you can go to prison. So if you're 14 and older, you soliciting, you're going to prison. Oh man, you just chilling around? Yeah. Oh, now somehow these poor, impoverished Euros, let's say Euros, are sitting in there and they figured out, they got a fucking hood chemist that figured out how to turn cocaine into crack somehow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna flood it all in your neighborhood to fund a goddamn war that nobody even talks about now and is documented. Every leader that you ever have, we'll say you're Irish. So the IRA is over here. Every leader in the IRA that you have, we're gonna kill them.
Nope. Everyone.
Every single one of them. But we're gonna say that black people did it.
Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton.
And then it's gonna come out 50 years later. So everybody who could have made his people free were killed. And then now, well, thank God, police don't bother me now because I'm an old man now. But until I was 30, yeah. I mean, shit, you getting beat up, doing all kind of crazy shit.
Then flood the neighborhoods with guns. It's nonstop.
When you start to get a movement,
It's nonstop.
When you start to get a little traction, where even white people are like, man.
So listen, man.
Hold on.
Can I say something?
So I'm almost done.
Look. We got the po-pos. Look, I'm supposed to be out there hustling, selling on the street, baby. Po-pos.
As soon as you get a movement, they take the same media
Or what about appropriating everything that you create musically and everything else, and then making all the money off of it, and then giving you 20% of it, and then telling you that you shouldn't do it because they own it now. You can't get none of it back.
Now you can't be too
It's
black.
wicked.
Like, man,
It's wicked.
No, we're all in
Man.
to stop Asian hate. Like, man,
It's wicked. But the point.
I've never in my life heard any black person that hated Asians.
There's no way.
They gotta move
That's not true. You know that. We don't hate no Asians. That's not even true. I don't even know what that came from.
Oppression is the same.
That came's crazy.
What? And the reason why I know any of this at all is because I'm Palestinian, right?
Oh, wow,
We're
okay.
dealing with the same exact stuff.
I didn't know you're Palestinian. Yeah. Out the country.
Literally what you just said just happened.
Sure did. They fight right now.
In a Palestinian culture, we wear this thing called a keffiyeh. It looks like a scarf, and it's checkered, right? In this traditional Palestinian garment color. I wear keffiyehs, okay? And the last time I wore one, 2 years ago, 2019, in July, I was going to California. I got randomly searched at an airport.
Damn.
Louis Vuitton, for $450 is now selling the same exact keffiyeh. They are literally romanticizing it.
Get the fuck out of here.
I wear it,
It's
and I'm a
becoming a trend.
terrorist.
Even the whole thing where they were Muslim. Well, I don't know if you're Muslim, but you know how you guys wear the the thing that goes all the way down. I don't know what it's called.
It's a dishdashi, but it's a robe. It's a robe.
Getting huge now.
Yeah, it's only cool. It's only cool when it's in the media, and white people, unfortunately, it's the truth, can romanticize it and make it look like, or make it pretty, right?
Yeah.
But
This
if I
gonna get
wear
you.
it, the people, like the indigenous people who created it, I'm a terrorist. This has literally happened to me multiple times. I cannot even tell you how many times I've been randomly searched.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
Gonna
just
get the
sad.
video banned off of
Quite a
YouTube.
bit.
What I'm about to say. People who didn't even have their own country now have the right to destroy Palestinians.
Unreal.
They didn't have their own country before
Unreal.
1940.
That's unreal.
You know, it's crazy. I had this argument with somebody else.
They were in Europe.
They told me that Palestine, this girl that I had a discussion with, right? Because she's Israeli and I'm Palestinian, and I'm indigenous Palestinian. Okay, my parents, my grandparents were forcibly expelled from their own country, right? But we have a permanent residency. I have a one that says Palestinian, and she had the audacity to tell me that Palestine never existed. And I was like, you're literally denying my entire existence. What do you, like, I'm not making this up. I don't just choose my oppressor and say, oh, fuck these Zionists. No, it's just so happened to be that they literally took my country, they burned my land, and they killed my parents. My grandfather was shot and killed by an Israeli soldier, and I have cousins who are now in jail in Palestine. They're practicing apartheid on my people, right? They are literally, it's not something I can choose, but if I say, yes, I'm Palestinian, just that existence to them is like resistance. It's as if she tried to tell me that Palestine as a state never existed. I'm like, literally, look, 1947 and before. The people, my entire ancestry since the 2nd century,
It's been that forever.
have been Palestinian, and she tried to tell me that it just never existed. Why is it that me, Palestinian permanent resident, cannot go to Palestine and build a home? Right? I'm not allowed to, but by the Israeli government, they don't let us go. I could go live there. I can't build a home. However, if you, sir, were converted into Judaism from Chicago, I am Jewish. Perfect. Perfect. No. You can go to Israel right now, Palestine, 1948 Palestine, and you can go live there. Yeah, I know that.
That's crazy.
I'll pay my way there.
What?
Tell me the sense.
I never knew
Show me
this.
the sense in that. Show me the sense.
You know what? It's a very, I sympathize with what you're saying, but it's, and I disagree with what's going on completely. And I've spent a lot of time in the Middle East, but, everybody's a victim in this.
Yes and no.
Listen, 6 million Jews were fucking slaughtered.
Oh,
Now, if you want to deny the Holocaust,
no one's denying the
there's no
Holocaust.
discussion.
No one's
So
denying the Holocaust.
let's not get into the Palestinian thing now. I agree with what a lot of what you're
We can do it
saying.
respectfully. We can do it.
Yeah.
No one's denying the Holocaust. In fact, Palestinians, the reason why there are Jewish people there who are survivors of the Holocaust is because Palestinians willingly sold their land to refugees who didn't have anywhere to go. Now, we all empathize with those people, and that's why there are Jewish people there now. That's why they were there. That's why there was ever a political movement called the Zionist movement. However, there is no legal or logical basis for this movement just because.
They should be
Why is it our problem to solve? Why did we become the people that were displaced? We are indigenous people. We literally were there. And there's the argument that, oh, Jewish people were there first, and this is hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years ago. If that's your argument, then why is Britain not called Rome? Why are the Native Americans not owning America? Like, why?
Well, they don't exist anymore.
Apparently.
It's all white.
It still is.
now.
And this is, you can look this up. The United Nations Resolution 236 is every refugee who has been forcibly displaced from war has a right to return to their own home. My parents have the same very key, the key that my grandparents' house, that unlocks my grandparents' house. They still have that key. We can't go there because new people literally live there. And we're not allowed in the own house that my grandfather built. We're not allowed there. Show me the sense how we, an indigenous Palestinian person whose heritage runs back as far as it can be documented. As indigenous Palestinian, we have the paperwork. We are not allowed to go build a house there, but you, a person from Chicago, you can go live there. Where is the sense?
You know, I look at it like this. It's war. It's about winning a war. And a lot of white people, they win the wars. And we can't be complainers. They told us this when I was in school, scorched earth and all that shit.
To the history of the war, I can provide you sources as well from the United Nations Amnesty. I can provide you sources of how they won the war. How they won the war in 1947. 1948 is when it really began, May 15th, right? And there was a Zionist movement, which again has no legal or logical basis as to why Palestine should be a homeland to only Jews. Palestine was a homeland to all races. It was never Jewish or just Muslim, or it was all three. There's all the holy sites are available there. There are Christians, there are Jews, there are Muslims. Before 1948, 30% of the people who lived there were Jewish, right? And the remaining 70 were all Arab, whether they were Muslim or Christian. Now, in 1948, at May 15th, they fought. They both bloodied each other up. The sides were both destroyed. Okay, and again, I'll show you the source as soon as I'm done explaining this. You have it all saved. After a month of war, right, the Zionist regime, movement rather, ran out of weapons. So did the Arabs. Palestinians ran out of weapons. And the United States and Great Britain brokered a ceasefire. They said, we got to stop fighting. We got to figure this out diplomatically. 3 weeks into that embargo, Zionists broke it. They smuggled millions of rounds of ammunition and they continued the fighting. And no one said anything. And I have the source.
Yeah, we believe you.
I take pictures of all my sources because I prepared for this. Yeah. And then in 1967, there was a 6-day war where Israel preemptively attacked Egypt, Jordan, Syria, and they occupied the West Bank and Gaza. And that's where we're at today. Every settlement to this day in those occupied territories underneath international law is illegal. That is all illegal. So, the real position you're at is, do you agree to uphold international law or not? Do you deny that Israel is an apartheid state or not? And let's define apartheid. What is that? What is apartheid? It is a legal system.
Man, with all due respect, I didn't come out here to get an hour-long lecture on the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. Seriously, man. I mean, with all due respect.
Let me end it.
With all due respect.
Let me end it with this.
And you
there
know,
are 65 laws.
And in 1967, all the Arab countries attacked Israel. Israel did not have a preemptive strike.
Yes, it did.
They were attacked by 4 Arab nations: Syria, Egypt, Jordan. Jesus Christ, man!
You want to look it up?
Look it up.
Okay,
look it up right now.
1 second. Look it up.
Hey, this is dope. Because you know what? Knowledge is everything. And that's why I like this. I'm glad y'all showing me that. I don't know any of this, so I'm glad y'all telling me. All I know is black struggle, so I don't know none of this. Thank y'all for telling me, because I don't know.
This is the Palestinian version of us.
Yeah, it is.
He's done his research on his own people.
This is like, hey, this is dope to have like a political argument on the court when we all trying to shoot jump shots.
And I have to be.
It's not even an argument, it's a good conversation.
Looks the same everywhere. What are you supposed to? It's the truth.
The fact of the matter is that, man, it's war. I look at it like that, man. It's war.
They can't be your allies because they got to go to the Bible.
It's war, man.
White Jesus and tell them, no, we got to be pro-Israel. I'm not. Listen, wrong is wrong. Wrong is wrong.
You know,
Jewish people were done wrong in the second worst Holocaust that ever existed, behind the African Holocaust. They were done wrong. And they did right by defeating Hitler in their own way, by buying up the media. That's what they were supposed to do. but we can't use that against other people and oppress other people. It's just it's a fact. It's just a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, shit.
Oh, look at this.
We can't have the guilt.
All right, so now you can again look up any source that you want to. This is just Wikipedia right here, and this is actually more of a source that's probably.
You know it's tough.
This is a source that's more likely biased towards the Israeli people, and yet here it states the Egyptians were caught by surprise. Nearly the entire Egyptian Air Force was destroyed with few Israeli losses, giving Israelis air supremacy. Egyptians were caught by surprise. Who attacked whom?
Yeah, you're right. The 1972 war, 1973 war,
Okay, but
Egypt attacked Israel.
Yes,
The 1972 war.
You're
So,
correct.
okay.
Okay, what
For
happened
what?
first?
Okay,
Hey,
well,
black people.
I'm saying
Police.
one
Well,
war.
they don't want us to fight our rapists.
Don't do that. That's illegal. That's illegal.
Most
Don't
of us
talk-
are scared to do it. I'm just not. But I don't hate nobody.
My
but
final
I'm
thing, and I had this argument
black
again
person, me.
with somebody who's Israeli. And again, I try to do this with zero hostility. I really
Who's
am trying-
Israeli?
I had somebody an
Oh.
argument with somebody.
Yeah,
who
but
was
I mean,
Israeli.
you know, Israel is so divided on this. To talk about one Israeli and that's your relate. I mean,
It's Zionism.
half
Zionism, you're
of
right.
Israel is completely opposed to the government. It's like the United States.
I
it's
know,
like,
I feel you, but this is
So
this
you
so
can't-
happened to be a Zionist Israeli.
okay,
And
well, it's
Jewish
a Zionist Israeli. Not every
Zionism is the move.
Not every Israeli is Zionist.
Most
man.
are.
That's like
Most
saying
are.
every African American believes this.
Most
Or every
Israelis-
Palestinian
No,
believes
I'm
this.
telling you by the political numbers of who literally just got voted into office, into the Israeli Knesset, right? After Netanyahu, who's been there for 12 years now, it's this guy Naftali Bennett, who is extremely Zionist, and he got voted in. So this is your speaking to the politics, right? This person tried to tell me that apartheid is not something that happens in Israel. Now, I'm here to define apartheid for you. It is a basis on a legal ground basis on only.
Who are you talking to? Me?
I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
It is apartheid. So I mean, I'm not defending the Israeli government. What I'm saying is, it is in some ways it's very simple. In some ways it's unbelievably complicated, or would have been solved by now. And I don't want to get into it anymore. Okay, in terms of
why you don't want to get into.
no, because we're out here to play basketball, man, and because this conflict is, and because this conflict has been going on for fucking ever, and it will continue to go on
My
forever.
grandmother's older than the conflict itself.
It's going to go on,
73-year-old conflict.
dude. It's going to go on.
1948.
It's not going to be solved in your lifetime. I guarantee it.
And now you can choose to be on the right or wrong side of history. And I'm here to inform. And I will tell you that it's like containing the wind. You can try. You can try to contain the wind, but the world will see. The world will see. They
The
will
most
see.
amazing part of this conversation is, I thought only black people went through this.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? The whole
This was a
dynamics
knowledge.
of the
This was a
conversation.
knowledge. This was a knowledge. And you
Yeah,
see
yeah,
how
yeah.
God put all of us out here.
Yeah.
And I never would have
I've seen
thought.
people say, well, it was white
I've been
people
coming
after
to this
Black
court for
Lives
years.
Matter,
I never
all
would have
these-
thought this could happen.
Yeah, but they ain't done nothing. Shit, they ain't John Brown. That's what I want. If you're not willing to spill blood for your black friend, then you still want to benefit. If you're not trying to get rid of your white privilege, then you're not really trying to hear us. You just want to talk. You know what I'm saying? Man, where's John Brown at? He spilled blood of his own people for black people.
And I'm
Yeah,
telling you,
I remember that.
I would never deny the Hanukkah. I went to Warsaw and I went to Auschwitz and I've seen these things and they're the most horrific atrocities in human history. They truly are. We never deny the Holocaust. That never.
I keep trying to leave. I can't leave.
That never became a thing.
I'm ready to go too.
You know
There,
very well what it is. But you do not solve a Holocaust with another Holocaust.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Point of argument is
I agree. I completely agree with you. In that sense, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, that's
What's happening in Israel right now is completely unjustified. I agree with you. Totally.
And I appreciate that you do, but many people who are Israeli, in my experience, no, not even my
I'm not
experience.
Israeli, dude.
Well, who are Zionists? Who are Zionists?
I'm not a Zionist.
Okay, well,
Okay, but I am Jewish.
there are half,
And
more than
my
half
and my
Jews.
you know and I appreciate my relatives were thrown out of their country. Okay.
Right, and I know about the Bulgarian refugees. I know about all of these people who literally were expelled from their homes.
My grandfather was from Iraq, man.
Wow.
Okay? Not Iraq. He was from Iran.
Same thing.
Persia.
I've heard the same dynamic of this conversation just in a black way. It's amazing.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just throw out the truth and the facts. There is no argument. It's just look at Gaza. 97% of the water is undrinkable. 50% unemployment. 50% children. Every single bit. No one can enter or leave. It's an open air prison.
Yeah, but Hamas is also incredibly corrupt.
How did
So let's
Hamas
be straight
become-
about that.
Well, let's
Hamas
ask-
is
well,
incredibly corrupt, and so is the PLO. If you acknowledge that, then I'll listen to you.
Well, I
If
have
you
a
don't
question
acknowledge
for
that,
you.
I won't listen to you.
Well,
Because you're just
listen,
full of
I
it.
always condemn the killing of any civilian.
Okay,
period.
are they corrupt?
Yes.
Okay.
However,
Have they wasted hundreds of millions of dollars?
now I'm asking you a question.
Yeah.
How do you know about the history of Hamas or how they were created? I'll answer the question for you. You can look it up. 1987.
They're supported by, I know they're supported by Hezbollah.
Okay,
Am
but
I
I'm
right or
asking
wrong?
you, Where did they
Am I right
become?
or wrong?
No, you're correct.
Okay. So I don't know how they were founded.
Okay, well, I'll tell you. To answer your question on how my stance of Hamas,
I mean, I know how they gained power in Gaza because the PLO was so hated and corrupt.
yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's about to explain every single black movement, but just the
I
Palestine
can do
version.
that too with black people.
Yeah.
It's the same movement. It is
I always
the
hear this
same
saying,
thing.
well, was the Black Panthers corrupt? No.
No, absolutely
Yeah,
not.
they went to
Hey,
prison.
dude, man, we're all allies.
Yes, we are. Now, to get a better understanding on what Hamas is, in 1982 is where it really began. There was a massacre called the Sabra and Shatila massacre, where Israel killed 3,000 Palestinian refugees. All of them were children and women. Every one of them. There is not one militant person. They massacred. You can look this up.
I know that, in
1982,
Lebanon.
Sabra and Shatila. It happened in Lebanon. They were all Palestinian refugees. That created.
Yeah, but why were they? I mean,
They
so
were
go ahead.
refugees. They were expelled from their land.
Yeah, but why were they in a refugee camp? Why didn't Lebanon take care of them? Why were they in a refugee camp
did
for
Israel just massacre them?
generations? I'm not defending what Israel did. I'm saying, why didn't the Lebanese integrate the Palestinians?
This is
Why
not
were they
the
living in
Lebanese.
horrible refugee camps?
Why is it their
Why
problem
were they
to
living in
integrate
horrible refugee
Aren't
camps?
Lebanese different people than Palestinians?
Very, very closely related.
Muslim brothers, man.
Listen. Why is it their problem to do that? It's not their problem. It's not their solution. Hey,
Humanity.
look,
Humanity. Humanity.
If you're on the Israeli position,
You don't
at
keep
all, there
people
is
in
no
refugee
humanity.
camps. They were used, and I'm not defending at all what happened. None. But they were used for political purposes. Corralled in
okay to kill
refugee
them.
camps. Corralled in refugee camps.
What happened to those people?
I know what happened to those people. I'm not defending it.
Okay, so-
I'm just
so
saying.
why are we
I'm
even
just saying.
arguing?
I'm saying.
So why
What
is
I'm
there
saying
an
is,
argument?
I'm saying this. There are a lot of bad guys on both sides here.
This is not a both sides argument.
Yeah, it is. There are bad guys on both fucking
Well, if
sides,
you would
man.
let me explain.
Why didn't the
how Hamas
Lebanese
was-
government? Why didn't Saudi Arabia and others help the refugees, man?
Why did Israel invade Palestine?
What?
Why did that happen?
Why did they invade Palestine?
Yes.
Well, you know, they were searching for a homeland after 6 million of them were slaughtered
So
in
it's
Europe,
okay
and nobody,
to slaughter them.
nobody lifted a fucking finger.
So it's
Nobody lifted a finger. Nobody.
So it's the Palestinian problem now?
No,
Why did
I'm
you-
not justifying it.
So
You
I'm
just
asking-
asked me why they did it, and I just told you why they did it.
So if you would let me explain what Hamas is, you would understand a little bit more of why they even.
I am. I'm just sort of interrupting your narrative.
It's not an. It's the
one-sided.
fact. You look it
You're
up.
I'm interrupting
not
part of
fair.
your one-sided narrative.
Hey, if the truth condemns you, it's none of my concern. It's
True.
the
What are you
truth.
talking about, man?
You're
You're
not
listening.
deny that the Sabra and Shatila massacre stuff. I'm trying to explain the
No,
sequence of events. The
I
sequence
admit
of events that created Hamas.
Listen, dude, I admit that. What I'm saying is this. Why were generations of Palestinians in a refugee camp, in a Muslim country, in an area where there are riches beyond belief? For political, no, dude, it's for political reasons, partially. That's why.
You need to zoom out of the problem. The
Dude.
problem was not that they're in refugee camps. The problem is that they had to be in refugee camps.
You know what?
That's the problem. The problem is that the Zionists put them in a position to have to be expelled from their
I'm
own
not.
home.
I'm not saying
So
that.
if you truly believe that,
you wouldn't make this argument because you are literally using. No, that's not true, man. Yes, don't put words into my mouth. Don't say what I believe and don't believe. All right, well, I would never do that to you. That's disrespectful. You understand? I told you what I know, what I believe.
You're trying to tell me here that this.
I'm not justifying the refugee camps. I'm not justifying the displacement of Palestinians. I'm not justifying the treatment of Palestinians in any way, shape, or form. What I'm saying is that there are some bad guys on both sides. That's what I'm saying.
I hear you.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to do is explain the sequence of events that created these bad guys to get your opinion.
Well, it all goes back to the Holocaust and the creation of Israel. That's what it goes back to. And you either believe that Israel was created legally, or you don't.
It was an illegitimate.
That's what it comes down. Well, that's what you say.
Well, it's the truth. It's not what I say. It's international law. Do you or not? It's not up to me. It's not up to you. It's international law.
International law what? I mean, Israel was created by UN mandate, wasn't it?
Well,
am I right or wrong?
Let me ask you this. Again, UN Accord 214 states that every single refugee who was displaced in the war of 1948 has the right to return to their own home. UN Accord states
I know that
this is another one here, just so you know that this is international law, and you can look this up. Every settlement beyond the borders drone of the 1967 war is illegal. What they are doing is illegal according to international law, not according to you. So how is it not an illegitimate state? That's what I'm asking.
Because Israel was created legally under UN mandate. What is illegal?
There was a UN partition plan.
What is illegal is the occupation of West Bank territory and Gaza Strip. That is illegal. Okay, that is illegal.
Also is illegal is not allowing the refugees the right to return to their own home. That's illegal. You have to acknowledge it. And you know there were 940,000 refugees in 1948 who were all displaced from their home, which have now turned into 6 million refugees, people like myself. We all have a right to return. Yet Israel will never give that, okay? There is 65 laws in Israel, not Palestine, not the West Bank, not Gaza. In Israel proper, there are 65 laws that only apply to Arab, Muslim, Palestinians that do not apply to Israeli Jewish people. How is this not apartheid? This is illegitimate. It is illegal in accordance with international law. And if you would let me explain how Hamas was created, you would completely understand why and how they were created. But,
hey, where can they find you online, man?
I mean, I don't really.
You don't do it, okay?
I have some social media, but I don't.
You know, because you Palestinian, the Palestinians gonna want to know you, man.
Palestinian Instagram, I guess, is Omar Abdullah 1. OmarAbdulla 1. That's me on Instagram.
Can I ask something real quick? This is really has exposed us as black people. We're supposed to know our shit. The way he knows his shit, we're supposed to know our shit. And he didn't get irate. He didn't lose emotion. He came with fact after fact.
And I'm still trying to explain the position of Hamas, but we might never get there. And that's okay, but I do have the truth on my side. I will tell you that.
You want to let the people find you on the internet, my brother?
No.
Okay.
Look it up if you don't believe me. Look it up.
Find you on
hey, King Mukulu on all platforms, KYNG on Facebook, but it's KING on everything else. But I just want to say to black people, this is how you're supposed to know your shit. You're supposed to know your shit. Period. No matter if nobody agree with you, they disagree, whatever. A man is willing to kill, die, and go to prison for what come out of his mouth.
It's just
supposed to be the truth.
It's just the truth.
I
think the Israeli prime minister beat him in the debate because I have the truth on my side. It's not me. I'm no lawyer. I'm no public speaker. I'm none of that. I just have the truth on my side, and I've done my research because these are my people.
Need somebody like you to speak.
Yeah, you're young. You know the stuff.
Yeah. That's
important.
27.
To know all that, that's a lot to know.
I'm just learning that amount about my people at almost 40. That really exposed me and the rest of my people.
I like both of y'all for giving y'all opinions because you just trained me and taught me. I'm a black person, so all I know is black information. But I learned a lot from y'all.
People can make their own decisions. I just want to show them the truth, and they can go look it up to see whether or not I'm bullshitting.
The truth depends on your point of view.
There
There
are some things.
There are,
yes,
dude,
there are some subjective things. But do you define the truth as international law?
You need to open your mind.
30.
You're saying yes, but you're saying, where should it be then? Mars. So essentially you're saying there is no place. Jews should not have there is no homeland that could be created for Jews. That's what you're saying, because every place, Greenland is claimed, Antarctica is claimed. Every piece of land in the U.S. in America
does that make it okay to just?
I didn't ask that question.
Forcibly take.
You're changing.
But that is the nature
I already
of
said.
the situation.
You're not answering the question. You're changing again. You're not answering the question. You said Jews should have a homeland. So where should it be? Where should it be?
Nor should I have that answer. It's
Why not?
my answer to have.
Because that's the only way you're going to get a solution.
And
that's the only way.
Okay, so what you're saying is, until we have that solution that the Palestinians just so happen to now have to solve, even though they were not the oppressors of Jewish people,
Dude.
Until they get that solution, it's okay for you to keep killing us.
No! Who said that? I'm saying this. That's why there has to be a two-state solution. Because Jews need a place and Palestinians need a place. That's got to be. And if you're saying there's only going to be one, if you say there's only going to be
the way they did before 1948,
you're saying there's only going to be one place.
They lived in solidarity, and I'm telling you, they lived in solidarity, and therefore there can be a one-state solution.
Yeah, but
if we just follow international law, there can be a one-state solution. But the Israelis don't want to follow international law. The truth condemns them. That's none of my concern. You want to change the truth? Fine, change the truth. But no one's going to believe you because it's not the truth. It's not.
The international community supports a two-state solution, not a one-state solution.
You know what the international
Whether
law
it's Israeli or Palestinian.
Do you know what the international law says?
Yes. I'm telling you, the international community supports a two-state solution.
I got a question.
They supported that
Why
forever.
do Jewish people that live here look different than Jewish people?
It depends. I mean, the Jewish people the history of their people are not one like, the Jewish is different. It's a race and a religion, right? But they are from different countries, right? You have German Jews, French Jews, Polish Jews, Russian Jews, Bulgarian Jews, all from Palestinian Jews. Palestinian Jews also exist, and they did exist, and they lived in solidarity in Palestine before 1948.
They got black Jews over there now.
There are Ethiopian Jews. There are Jews from all over the world.
They got their own Black Lives Matter movement over there, by the way.
And the point is, that's why they'll look different, is because you can have an Ethiopian Jew and you can have a German Jew. Now, Palestinian is not, that is just a race of people. We are all sorts of religions. There are Palestinian Jews, there are Palestinian Muslims, there are Palestinian Christians. We are all Arab people. However, that's the difference. That's the difference in the conflict, right? That's the only thing. And before 1948, those people all lived in solidarity. There are buildings and holy sites of all three religions located in Palestine and now Israel, and those were created way before this conflict ever started. And it is because they lived in solidarity in a one-state solution before any of this ever happened. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that.
All right.
I gotta get running.
All right, man. Dope. That was some dope information, man. Y'all knowledge boys up here. Knowledge guys. Knowledge guys.
I do too, man. What's your name? Omar. I'm Gary. Gary, nice to meet you.
I'll see you around.
It's very cool. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, man?
I know
I'm
tensions
just
are.
pushing back on you.
No, please. I accept all of it. I accept
I'm not
it.
gonna go on and on.
I've always seen it happen with me.
I agree with a
black
lot of
shit,
what you're saying.
but I
do
seen it
say
like
this. There will not be a one-state solution, man.
I think one day in the future.
Maybe in
younger
1,000
generations-
years, they're going to be
I don't
one.
think it'll. I think with younger generations, they'll see it. They'll see it, and they'll keep looking into archives.
They get 300 people like him and 1,000
No, dude.
of people who's willing to die.
You don't understand, man. There are millions of Jews who believe just as passionately something very different.
That's true.
And that's why the only solution is for all of us to open our minds, acknowledge the other's truth, and say, how are we going to figure this out?
Now, the two-state solution could be entertained. However, Israel doesn't know, and I'm telling you, this is the truth. And this is. You can look at the Oslo Accords. Oslo Accords.
I know about the Oslo Accords.
Okay. In the Oslo Accords, Israelis didn't want to forfeit the land that they stole illegally under an international law.
I was doing an
in
over-the-shoulder.
1967,
I was doing an over-the-shoulder shot of it.
Therefore, no Palestinian
I did like that. He closed the motherfucker.
No, he got me.
until those settlements are forfeited back.
Good.
Right? Now, that's Israel's position. They want to expand their land in their two-state solution, and that's completely illegal. And
That's
therefore,
what the hardliners want to do. That's the thing, is it?
the
They say
hardliners
it's
just so
rape.
happen to be in your government. of
Well,
Israel.
not my government.
Right, in the
Well,
government.
you say
of
your
Israel. They
government,
just
man.
so
I'm not
happen to
Israeli.
Hey, he get passionate about it, man.
What?
Hey, y'all dope, bro. Y'all dope, man.
Two-state solution if Israel decided to forfeit every illegal settlement, which they won't. And that's why until then, my position, as well as the position of every Palestinian person, is that there will not be a two-state solution if you do not forfeit those illegal annexations that you've committed. Until then,
Has Hamas recognized Israel's right to exist?
actually it has.
In what way?
So Hamas, and again, you can look this up, has gone on the record and has named 3 to 5 conditions for Israel's right to exist. Condition number 1, remove the blockade, illegal blockade on Gaza. Condition number 2, every single Palestinian refugee, in accordance with international law, like I've stated many times, has a right to return. Condition number 3, free and fair elections. Did you know every single Palestinian who lives in Palestine does not get to vote? They don't allow them to vote, so they're asking for free and fair elections. Number 4, they rule by their own laws.
Palestinians who are Israeli citizens can vote. That's
They
incorrect.
can.
They can vote. So why do you say that?
Well, I'm saying that
Come on,
because
dude.
every single Palestinian sovereign West Bank and Gaza, they cannot vote. Those are the sovereign ones, right? They're not allowed to vote. They're
Why
not.
should they have to become Israeli citizens?
That's
though?
exactly my point. So what
They
Hamas?
live in Israel. Palestinians live in Israel, man.
Palestine is it recognized
They're
as a
Palestinian Arabs who live in Israel.
And
They're citizens.
There's 65 laws against them that literally separate them as classes. Jewish communities in Israel can expel Palestinians, can deny them the right to live there. What is that?
Sounds so familiar.
Oh, I know, it's crazy.
I want to ask, like,
But no,
a question. I
Hamas
wanted to
lost
ask.
the situation. Yes, they've gone on the record many times saying that they will coexist. It's Israel that says no.
We better get the hell out of here.
Palestinians disproportionately
Anybody who says
incarcerated
something
in
with
Israel.
conditions is not really acceptable.
Actually, that you mentioned that. So Palestinians are not allowed in the West Bank and Gaza. They're not allowed civil court. So let's say they have any civil issue with anyone Israeli, they have to be convicted or they have to be tried via military court. The conviction in military court of Israel in the Supreme Court is 99.7%.
She sounds like totally just like
99.7%.
familiar. Bro.
That's
They're
what
not
they
even
probably got it
allowed
from
civil
them.
trials. They're not allowed civil trials. They have to go to military court.
Hey, bro, we starting back again, man.
Solved is by good people like you and good people on the other side getting together, acknowledging what everybody else believes, and then coming to a solution, a two-state solution. A one-state solution that wipes out Israel and takes away a homeland is not going to happen, dude. It's not going to happen.
And they've gone on the record.
It
Yasser
ha-
Arafat himself, and he's been, by the way, murdered, assassinated, has gone on the record. On the record, this is the leader of the Palestinians, Yasser Arafat, and you know this. He's gone on the record saying Israel has a right to exist. Now, if you want to look that up, there's a book.
So why are you saying there needs to be a one-state solution then? If the Palestinian
still
leaders
a-
say that, why do Palestinians say?
Because they said that, and then you murdered him. And
Who
he's-
murdered him?
Not
I
you.
murdered him.
I'm saying
you murdered him.
I'm
He's like, he putting me in
calling
it.
you a fucking terrorist.
I know what you mean.
Why are
I'm
you
saying
doing that?
They murdered him. You know what I mean? I'm not meaning you specifically. I mean Israel murdered him. Now, if you want to look up these sources, there's a book called by 2 American authors, by the way, not Palestinian authors, right? Book by Mark Lyman Hill called "Except for Palestine." Book by Sandy
Mark
Tolan.
Lamont Hill?
Yeah.
They found him on CNN because he talked about he supported them.
Sandy Tolan.
I know Sandy Toll. He's one of my best friends.
What?
Read it.
Bring Sandy out here, man. Bring Sandy out here.
It's called The Lemon Tree.
I know that, dude. He's a
And
friend of
it's-
mine.
What?
So it's perfect. That's a perfect book for this situation.
Dude,
He know him personally.
because he's a good friend doesn't mean I agree with everything he writes, but that book is great.
But his book is all
It's
factual.
great. I love the guy. I love the guy, man.
Sandy told they like you out here, boy.
He states every one of his sources. He cites all of his sources.
Yeah,
From the United
I love
Nations
Sandy Toll. He's my buddy.
He fuck with candy toes.
So do him a favor and do yourself a favor. Surprise. This guy's surprised.
I'm not surprised because I've been through the same thing just in the black way.
Yeah, this was dope to see this. You know, we be sowing our bubble in the black community. I never even knew
Why don't we all
about.
read something in the newspaper and meet tomorrow?
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
He just gave me more evidence why I don't listen to the media.
No, not the newspaper. Read books, but make sure that they're cited, that the sources are cited, and then you have your answer.
I'm at the place I don't want to get information off YouTube. If I can't go to the library and see in the book,
Yeah, there's so much stuff out here. All right, later, man. Hey, you too, bro. Enjoy your day, man. I'm going too, bros. I see you tomorrow. I'll be out here. All right, politics on the court, man. Episode 1. All right, bros.
Hey.